Suck your mum, suck your mum. Yeah, I said it, suck your mum.
It feels like Arteta is making sure that everyone thinks that he's a clever, innovative manager that isn't just following in the footsteps of Pep Guardiola. I don't understand the context of this interview and the structure of why he said it and what benefit this wisdom gives us. I think most people accept that goalkeepers are a very different breed than outfield players. That's why you have specialist goalkeeping coaches that work with them. They have different requirements because their concentration levels are very different.
You have specialist coaches for all positions. You have goalkeeping coaches, you have set piece coaches, you have defensive coaches, you have attacking coaches. It's not, and then the manager or the head coach is responsible for all. You know, like the nutritionists, they don't run the defensive drills. The sports scientists don't coach the goalkeepers. Surely you know this. You own a football club.
Different than average outfield players because there'll be long periods of the game where they don't actually have to do anything. They just have to make sure that they're switched on. It's a very different requirement. But notwithstanding that, obviously, I'm not against the idea of it. And
well, you clearly are. In context for everyone who's just tuning in, the Arsenal hate continues. And it's a beautiful thing to see. I actually enjoy it now. I'm a neutral to this. But every time Arteta does something that's maybe a little different, well, I'll explain why it's not different in a minute, but does something that outward looking might be a bit different, a little bit innovative, this man gets attacked. Last year, he gave a 16-year-old lad, I think he was 16, he might have been younger, a bit older, a debut, and everybody attacked him. Now, he brings in David Raya for a game. I know he hasn't officially bought him, but a player they're looking to spend money on. They've got him on loan with an option to buy, who has a brilliant game. And the media tried to catch the manager out and kind of say, oh, is this the new number one? Trying to create a story that will be spun into a negative. Because if Ray is the new number one, then it will be, what did Ramsdale do wrong? Some of the British press, because he's in contention to be England's number one, will start to attack it. If Raya makes a mistake, they'll make mantings out of molehills. And all Arteta has said is that there is no number one. I'm going to rotate them at the right times. And this has been done by managers for a long time. There are managers who literally play a different goalkeeper in all the cup competitions and a different goalkeeper in the league, right down to, look at Pep playing his second choice goalkeeper in an FA Cup final, which if they would have lost, by the way, because he's not as good as Edison, they would have not achieved a treble. But no one questioned that. David De Gea's first year at Manchester United, between him and Lindegaard, they shared the number one position. This has happened before. This is not new. And what Arteta has done is clever. He knows the hate's going to come. He knows the fear's going to come out. He knows that the mountains from molehill attempts from the media are going to happen. So what did he do? I know Lee Gunner's going to hate this, right? He did lie. He probably has got an idea as to who he sees as the mainstay goalkeeper moving forward. But why in God's green earth is he going to, one, speak about it now publicly and reveal his hand? That would be stupid. And secondly, risk damaging confidence of either goalkeeper. Imagine he says, yeah, Raya's now the new number one. I think he's better than Ramsdale. And then tomorrow, Raya breaks a bone in his hand and Ramsdale's got to come back in. Could damage him. Could damage his confidence. This isn't going to damage his confidence because he's saying to them both, you both got a chance of being number one. You're both brilliant. Show me who's best. He's trying to sharpen his knives. But of course, the mainstream media look at this and they try and turn it into a negative. Now, I know what some of you are saying in the comments. Oh, Terry's defending Arsenal again. No, it's about football logic. It's about consistency. I would do this for any club, especially a team that's improving, getting better, that's in title races, that is probably going to win major trophies, that has consistently got better, a manager who is getting more experienced, more ruthless all the time. I don't understand the level of criticism that he is receiving for this. And take a listen here to what Arteta said as well.
The sport, we're here to perform at the highest level and to contribute with.
Go back to what he said at the beginning when you listen to this in case you missed it.
One is guaranteed the spot. I don't have the guaranteed spot.
Nobody is guaranteed a spot. And this is also a thumb in the eye to his detractors. No one in the Arsenal team is guaranteed a spot. Not Gabriel Jesus, not David Raya, not Bukayo Saka, not Declan Rice, not Thomas Partey, not Zinchenko. You have to perform. And it'll be the same at every club. Turn up to training on time, give your all in training, listen to instructions, and deliver in games. And you know what's interesting? The managers actually care more about the beginning factors, turning up on time, working hard, listening to instructions, to some degree more than they do your performance in a game. Because professionalism is what you should be rooted in. Those things are a prerequisite that should happen. If you're not doing one of those three things, your performances on the pitch either have to be a beyond world-class level to justify the insubordination in other areas. All the manager is doing here is keeping his powder dry. But of course, Arsenal won. So what do the media do? They come out and attack.
Which Arsenal will be for the foreseeable future, you have to be in a position whereby when you don't always play well, which you won't, that you win the game. And clean sheets are critical. What cost Arsenal at the end of last season? There were many things, obviously. A couple of injuries. They lost their fluidity, their tempo of the play. They gave leads away, but they were conceding goals. And it undermines everything that you're trying to do. I'm not saying you can't concede a goal and win a title, but you really do need to build clean sheets. You need to.
A lot of people say I'm not balanced when it comes to covering Arsenal. So I thought I'd include this because not only is Gary Neville right, and he proved to us he was right last year, we all learned from that, but he's being consistent. Arsenal are now a better team than they were last year. Now, I've seen people tweet saying they don't look as potent, they don't look as dangerous, but they look stronger at the back. Goals win you games, defenses win you titles. The greatest manager of all time, the greatest coach of all time, the best achiever in British football ever. In fact, the most decorated manager in the history of the world, Sir Alex Ferguson, taught us this. I'm going to trust him on this one. I think he's right. And Gary Neville is correct here. This is a sensational Arsenal take. Shocking to some people because they think Gary Neville hates them. He doesn't. And he's saying absolutely the right thing here. Those clean sheets are massive. And I've got to give Gary Neville praise, and I think so should Gooners, because he's being true to, he hasn't changed his tune from last season like you see on TalkSPORT. They'll criticize you for X. You'll change it and make it better, and then they'll criticize you for Y. Gary Neville's being consistent here, and I think that's very, very important indeed. People, hit like buttons. Make sure you subscribe. Let's do this.
How dare you!
Others, the Glazers are obviously a problem. But to be fair, it's not the Glazers that are dropping Welbeck from that run from the middle of the park. That's Casemiro. It's not the Glazers that are diving into the tackle to stop Gross for the second goal. That was Martinez. I tend to agree. I think the players have got to take more responsibility.
I love Ali McCoist. I really do. But this is honestly, I am calling TalkSPORT out. Please get good Man United representation when you're talking about this. Please. Because McCoist is right in terms of how he's reviewing the game. The Glazers didn't lose their runners. I actually thought it was McTominay and not Casemiro for the first goal, personally, because of the side of the pitch he was on. But I'll bow to McCoist's superior knowledge as an ex-pro on this one, because that isn't part of the argument. I agree with everything he said there about why we lost that game. But do you know what Man United fans are tired of? We're tired of reviewing individual games and problems that all stem from the same place. So nobody thinks the Glazers are directly to blame for losing individual matches, but we hold them accountable for where we are. But they're different conversations. We can review games in isolation. We can review seasons in isolation, but when you look at where Man United are in our entirety, we can't not talk about the people that make all the decisions, all the people they employ, all the decisions that are made that manifest itself on the football pitch. And I am not going to back down from this. I am never going to be too tired to keep calling this out. They are different things. You're bang on, McCoist. Players were responsible. Manager was responsible for losing at the weekend. That isn't why Man United haven't challenged for 10 years. They are different conversations with different outcomes. Viewers, let me know what you think.
Damn! Like Onana, but it's a mistake. It's a mistake. And I don't like saying I told you so, but so many people were clipping De Gea up last season, saying he's a problem in the team, this, that, and the other. He's not a problem in the team. Man United have conceded 10 goals in 5 games. They're averaging 2 goals per game going in. He's not a problem in the team. He had 17 clean sheets. We only conceded 9 goals at home last season. We've conceded, 5 already at home? That's over half in 2 games. People need to wake up. We didn't need to replace David De Gea. The defence worked. Yes, De Gea can't play out from the back, but did we need to replace the Golden Glove winner who was hardly conceding goals, and the defence was solid.
It's an interesting point by Mark, and I get where he's coming from. I also would say this: Mark did state, like with me, we both agreed with each other on this. We thought we were bringing in maybe the third, fourth best goalkeeper in the world. So I get it, but bringing in Onana hasn't broken up this defence. Onana being in goal hasn't made the defence get run through. It didn't make the manager go 4-4-2 diamond and then not address the exploitation of our wide spaces. You could argue the third goal could have been saved. He could have done better with it. But let's not pretend that a number of fairly simplistic shots last season found their way through the hands of David De Gea as well. I understand where he's coming from. Where I would agree is if we'd have spent the money on Onana, if we'd taken that money, not bought Højlund, not bought Onana, and bought Harry Kane, we could maybe be in a different situation with a world-class proven Premier League goal scorer. That is a fair point. And maybe with someone finishing chances, we would have scored earlier in some of these games, and the match would have had a very different outcome, and it would have played out differently. That is a fair hypothesis. It is a fair hypothetical situation. But if we had De Gea in goal and the games did play out how they have done already, he might have done better against Nottingham Forest first goal. He might not have got dummied. It could have been. We've seen him get nutmegged on his posts when the ball weren't going in. We might have made more mistakes in games when trying to play out from the back, which is what the team is now trying to do. Would he have saved the first 2 goals that Brighton scored? Not in my opinion. So we may have conceded a goal or 2 less, but I do not think we'd be in any better situation potentially if he came in. So I do think we shouldn't have got rid of De Gea. We shouldn't have got Onana. We should have kept De Gea. I understand where they're coming from, but it's not about Onana and De Gea switching places. That's the problem. It's using the money elsewhere. So for me, Onana isn't the problem here. Maybe it's the way in which Ten Hag has spent the money. I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you agree with Goldbridge's massive take here? That Onana is the problem with Man United at the moment, and signing him and getting rid of De Gea has damaged us defensively and is damaging our season so far. Let me know in the comment section, people. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.